Washington wrapped up its first week of spring practice on Saturday afternoon, and in this video, I'm going to take you through everything I saw from the sidelines, as well as some comments from some of the coaches. And this team is going to be led by true sophomore quarterback Omari Williams Jr. He started 2 games last year, including the Sun Bowl, where he threw 375 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. His freshman season ended on a high note, and he's the clear-cut starter heading into the 2025 season in a quarterback room that includes Tulane transfer senior Kai Horton, a couple of true freshmen in Dash Beerley and Kinney McMillan, as well as Shea Kai Kendall. All 5 of these quarterbacks are on scholarship, a really big difference compared to last season. It's a full quarterback room with a lot of youth, but with a year under his belt now, Omari Williams is more confident and comfortable in this offense.
Yeah, I would say extremely confident, just going out there and just executing the game plan that I've had a year to go over and, just going out there and really take command of the offense.
And there are a lot of new faces on this offense, but none made a quicker introduction than Penn State transfer wide receiver Omari Evans. His career in Happy Valley included 7 reception touchdowns, 564 receiving yards on 30 catches. He's going to be a true senior in 2025. And to close out the team's first practice of the spring, the new Husky had himself quite a sequence, pulling down 3 consecutive contested catches. The first was on about a 35-yard pass from quarterback Shea Kai Kendall. He caught the ball as he dove to the turf, beating both the safety and the cornerback to the football. His next 2 receptions went for touchdowns, both from quarterback Kai Horton on 50-50 balls that were placed up above the cornerback. On both of them, Evans pulled them down for touchdowns during the situational 2-minute drill period of practice. His teammates swarmed him after the play. It's clear that Evans is going to be an impact in this Washington offense, not just for his speed, but also his ability to catch the football in traffic.
So if Mama flows out routes and couldn't figure it out, would you care? If I couldn't put designers on your feet, pay for lobster when you eat and wasn't popping in these streets, would you care?
When you look down this receiver room, you don't notice Denzel Boston. That's because he's out this spring recovering from some cleanup surgery at the end of last season, but that's given other guys a chance to step up, like Rashid Williams. The coaches have talked about how he had a really good offseason leading up to the spring, putting on some extra weight, and he certainly looks that way on the field, also emerging as a leader. He's the first player in the group to go through drills and reps. He's playing with a lot more confidence now with a year of knowing this offense under his belt. And he's gotten some really good jumps on cornerbacks during his route running, good separation. He pulled down a really nice diving catch along the sideline during the team's second practice. And both Omari Williams Jr. and offensive coordinator Jimmy Doherty have taken note of his progress and impact this spring.
Yeah, Rashid's been doing his thing. He's got that mindset about him, that attitude. He's going to go get it done, and, that's what I love about him.
I think Rashid's doing great. You can just tell he's second year in the system, like a lot of the guys that have played 2 years for us. He's just so more comfortable this year, lining up and knowing what to do, and he's playing faster because of it. Had a really nice catch on the sideline there on the outcut, but he's a guy that we definitely need to keep stepping up for us. We're excited about him. He had a great offseason, like I said the other day, but really excited about him.
And outside of those 2 more veteran wide receivers, the young talent in this receiver room has been really good. That includes true freshmen Chris Lawson, Marcus Harris, and Raiden Vines-Bright, all 3 in the class of 2025. Chris Lawson was a 4-star out of high school, a top 50 wide receiver in the class of 2025 at 6'1", 185. He's already made some really nice catches. That includes a 50-50 catch that he caught over the cornerback during one-on-ones on Saturday's practice for a touchdown, high-pointing the football over the cornerback. At 6'1", Raiden Vines-Bright out of Arizona played high school football at IMG Academy. He's 200 pounds and another true freshman in this receiver room. And then there's Marcus Harris out of Modern Day High School, another 6'1" receiver in this freshman class. He's made a couple of really good catches, including a sliding catch on the sideline. All 3 of these guys getting a lot of increased reps this spring. But one of the areas that this Washington offense might be the best in 2025 is at running back. Jonah Coleman, Adam Muhammad, Jordan Washington, and true freshman Julian McMahon. Jonah Coleman is off a 1,000-yard season where he averaged 5.5 yards per attempt on 192 carries with 10 touchdowns on the ground. He's 5'9" and down to 222. Coleman is a punishing tailback, extremely difficult to bring down. He averaged 4.3 yards after contact per attempt in 2024, and he's backed up by true sophomore Adam Muhammad. At 6 foot 212, Adam Muhammad is another very physical running back in this backfield, averaged 3.6 yards after contact per attempt last season. And then behind them, it's Jordan Washington, who brings that speed element to the Washington backfield. This team is trying to be more explosive this year, according to offensive coordinator Jimmy Doherty. And the biggest difference this spring on offense is at offensive line. There are 18 players dressed for spring practice. That's over double what this team had at times last spring. With Landon Hatchett fully healthy at center, this team will feature returning right tackle Drew Azaparty and Kansas State transfer number 50, Carver Willis. And on the other side of the ball, the Washington defense, now run by defensive coordinator Ryan Walters, we're beginning to see the installation of his defense. And in this defense, you're going to see a lot of man coverage on the outside with the cornerbacks, a single high safety look, and a 5-man defensive line. And several players are starting to step up in this secondary, including redshirt freshman Rahshawn Clark, who pulled down 2 interceptions at Saturday's practice. One of those was a one-handed interception during the one-on-one period against the wide receivers. He also has a pass breakup this spring. He's being rotated in at the nickelback spot in Ryan Walters' defense, mostly with the second team, but he's making a big impression so far. And one of the biggest name transfers Washington picked up this offseason, cornerback Tacario Davis. He's reunited with former Arizona teammate Ephesians Prysock in the secondary. Prysock is a limited participant this spring, also coming off some cleanup surgery from the end of last season, but Davis has been really impactful this spring so far. 3 pass breakups, also had an interception on Saturday off of a bobbled pass. And he said he was close to transferring to Washington before last season, but he ended up waiting a year. He now joins Ryan Walters' defense at Washington. Here's what he had to say about the cornerback responsibilities in that defense.
You just got to be a complete defensive back, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really have a corner. Like, if you come here, you're a defensive back. You got to play it off. You got to be physical, be able to cover, and be able to compete.
And with Prysock out this spring, we're also seeing increased reps from sophomore Leroy Bryant at cornerback. He started 1 game last year in the Sun Bowl. And then when you look at the safeties, that's one of the more important positions in Ryan Walters' defense. Florida International transfer CJ Christian, number 4, has been getting the primary reps with the number 1s at that single high safety spot. He's got a career 152 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 6 tackles for loss. He's playing alongside veteran Washington safety Mikel Esteen. And some other players that I've seen rotating at that single high safety spot in this defense include Paul Menke Jr., true freshman Rylan Dillard Allen, and Vincent Holmes. After practice on Saturday, Ryan Walters detailed what he looks for in that single high safety and the importance of that position.
He's got to be able to get sideline to sideline, take good angles, you know, to eliminate explosive plays. Got to be cerebral in some of our motion adjustments. So those are all things that are essential to playing that position.
And when you move up to the defensive line, this should be a position group at Washington that's much improved going into 2025 because they added a lot of size up front, and one player stands out. It's Anterio Thompson, transfer from Western Michigan, who started his Division I career at Iowa. At 6'4", 306, Thompson is not only an explosive player who creates havoc in the backfield, but he moves with really good quickness on that defensive line. He made a really good tackle for loss in the team's 4th and short situationals on Saturday.
Yeah, he's definitely a mature young man and recognizes the opportunity that he has, and he's acting accordingly. So that's been good for us. The explosion and the power and the agility that you see running around cones and lifting weights in the weight room it's translating to the field, so that's always a plus.
Another impactful transfer in this defense is linebacker Buddah Al-Uqdah. He transferred from Washington State this offseason, and he's already had 2 interceptions in the middle of that defense during the team's 2-minute periods this spring. He's the one with the helmet communication, hearing the plays from Ryan Walters, and he talked about his responsibility at linebacker.
Well, you have to talk. You got to know where everybody is at all times. You got to know where your help is. You just got to control the defense. That's one thing about it.
And that wraps up week 1 of spring practice at Washington. Be sure to stay right here for more coverage from spring practice, including videos and shorts, and coverage all throughout the 2025 Washington football season.